Hi guys, in this video we'll talk about the downfall of men's long jump, when we'll see a 9-meter long jump and if it really is possible. The golden age of long jump, we saw huge results week after week and a massive progression in the sports, and if we look at this chart we see that the progression has stalled a lot since then. And if you wonder what the massive jump in 68 is Bob Beeman's 890, aka the Olympic record. The first man ever to jump 8 meters was the legend Jesse Owens in 1935, and yeah, as you can see, it was a long time ago. Yeah, it's really crazy that these two guys are basically jumping the same distance if we compare the technique, runway, and camera footage. But how is this even possible? By the way, this is the footage from Bob Beeman's 890 jumped in 1968 in the Olympics. Nowadays I would say that everything over 8 meters is considered good, but this guy jumped 8 meters 90 in 1968. If we take a look at the top 10 long jumpers of all time, we notice that only 3 of them are from the 21st century. Also worth noting is that 6 of the 10 best guys ever are from America and 4 of the 5 best guys are from America. Which brings us to the next chapter, which is the American era, aka the Prime. This era is often remembered by the rivalry of Mike Powell and Carl Lewis. Which brings us to the next chapter, which is the best meet in history. Enjoy! Lewis, fresh off his world record in the 100, opened up the competition with a big 868, which people thought was the winning jump. Powell had a failed first attempt, but he woke up in the second, which he delivered a big 854, and you can see that he was locked in. Lewis continued with a big jump that was ruled a foul. Powell delivered a 8 meters 29, but he was hungry for more than this competition. Lewis, who obviously was in incredible shape, continued with good momentum and jumped a massive 8 meters 83, and people thought he surely had won. Powell saw this jump and decided to lock in. He jumped an absolutely massive jump, which unfortunately was a foul. Lewis continued his absolutely incredible series and jumped a big 891 and a new world record.
By this man. 891, the longest long jump in history. What a shame that wind is a little over the limit, but that is undoubtedly the greatest jump we've seen.
Powell saw the longest jump in history and decided to one-up him, jumping 895 and the new world record.
891, and he's being beaten. It's 895. Bob Beeman's world record has been smashed by Mike Powell. 5 centimeters.
But Lewis wasn't done. He ran the 100 world record 5 days before and wanted another one. And man, look at this series. And it was just about to get better, because in his 6th and final jump he jumped another one with a big 884. Unfortunately for Lewis, he would place second with arguably the best series in history in the long jump. This competition changed the sport forever, and still today this competition holds 3 of the 10 longest jumps ever, and that's kinda crazy because this was 30 years ago. As I said, Carl Lewis also won the 100 meters at these same competitions in Tokyo, which is pretty crazy that a guy who runs 984 also combines it with long jump, something we'd never see in today's era. Like, imagine Miltiadis Tentoglou running the 100 in 984. All respect to Tentoglou, who is the reigning Olympic champ with a PB of 865, but that's still 30 centimeters shy of the world record. And with these two athletes breaking the world record 2 times in a single competition and Powell jumping a massive PB, it obviously raises some suspicion and controversy. An altitude has proven that athletes can run faster and jump longer, therefore meaning better results. If we take a look at the top 10 longest jumps of all time in all conditions, we have 4 jumps that are jumped at an altitude, and also 3 jumps at the same stadium in Tokyo. However, athletes still have the right to jump at an altitude today. The Tokyo World Champs in 1991 raised a lot of suspicion afterwards because of these results. Mike Powell and Carl Lewis breaking the world records and also USA breaking the world record in the relays. Without a doubt, a big factor for these results were the track that was laid in Tokyo. It was groundbreaking for its time, and athletes described it as fast and springy. However, this can't be considered an excuse because nowadays we have much more optimized tracks than then. One of the actual more suspicious things about these champs were the wind readings, because like in some jumps it was negative wind, and then the next it was +3, and then the next it was legal. And then we have the next controversy on our list, which is the doping suspicions. And the 19s weren't really known to be the cleanest era of track and field, especially because in the 1988 Olympics, 6 out of the 8 men in the 100 were caught to being doped, and this was only 3 years prior to this champ. It's also been confirmed that some countries were using state-sponsored doping, which obviously raises the performance of their athletes. Will we ever see the 9-meter mark being broken though? And the short answer is probably yes. With time passing by, our training, nutrition, and biomechanics in the sports is getting better and better, and this means that probably someday we will reach a new level of athletes. Combining this with technological advancements in the sports, such as new shoes and better track surfaces, should raise the human limit and make it easier for athletes to jump longer and longer. But the thing is, we need someone to jump the 9 meters, and that someone needs to be a huge talent, because even with Carl Lewis and Mike Powell's talents running a 986 in the 100, it's still hard to jump this far, and it's so precise as well. The closest we've been to breaking the world record since the American era is Juan Miguel Echevarria, who has jumped 892 in illegal conditions. But where is the theoretical limit in the long jump for humans? And it's really hard to answer. Some biomechanics says it's somewhere between 9 meters and 9 meter 30, but this requires perfect conditions and also perfect execution because it's so precise. If you lose just a fraction of your velocity at takeoff, you will lose a lot of distance in the pit, making it really technical. And I think in conclusion, we might need new advancements in technology, because right now, today, we doesn't have an athlete capable of jumping 9 meters, I would say. But the future honestly looks pretty bright for long jump, because if we take a look at the top 10 list of longest jumps in the U20 category, we see a positive trend in contrast to the all-time list, because we have 7 out of the 10 jumps which are jumped in the 21st century. So if this trend continues for another, say, 10, 20, 30 years, we should see this someone breaking the 9 meter. But as AI says, we need someone with Usain Bolt speed and Mike Powell's technique, and that's honestly true. It's not even an exaggeration because it requires so much to jump 9 meters. Like, it's such an execution.